How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well, my royal family. It's about damn time. About damn time that in one of these countries in Africa, these folks get some backbone and start dealing with Moab. I've been talking about this frequently, my royal family. So I'm going to take the royal family on this journey. We're going to look at this first video. I see Dr. Mumby has already did her part. I haven't even seen her video yet, but I expect her because that's what she's supposed to do over there. So let's get into this first video, my royal family, and it's one of them type of videos. Go get your shit. Oh, yeah. Go get your shit. I got mine on deck. Right here on deck. Let me take a little swig while I stall. While you go get your shit. I'm going to need a refill. No, down to that last little piece at the bottom. I'm down to that last little piece at the bottom. Now, let's get into this.
Fuzzling us was the fact that the federal government has banned all mining activities since 2016 in Zamfara. So we are not expecting to see even a Nigeria engaging in gold activities. I'm not to talk or even a Chinese national, but you are living witness. The Chinese personnel are here and they are engaged very much in that illegal mining activity. Will be made by Inspector General of Police because from here we'll transfer them to Abuja. In Abuja we will make necessary decisions and our own stop.
You see, they have these big arrests where they go and capture a bunch of sort of illegal Chinese gold miners. So they go there, illegally mine the gold, but in the process they divert river systems. They use a lot of chemicals, of course, for the whole mining process, which is very bad to the...
I don't know who.
You kill our animals?
No, I still not kill animal. I don't know who is that.
And this one?
Who is the owner of this one?
This one same more. This is together. I don't.
And that goes to Muhammad Yoga. But below so not the service, some manipulation. Seven.
Were on Friday charged with possession of suspected stolen items at Buganda Road Court. This follows an ongoing police probe that unveiled the racket after concerns by some neighbors. The raid showed motherboards of used phones and laptops reportedly stolen in Uganda, then repackaged and exported to China.
And these motherboards, for the phones we suspect were snatched from Ugandans.
There were also wildlife exhibits like tortoises, pangolin scales and fish maw also recovered from this house. This is not a phone processing plant, but a makeshift control room with over 2,000 phones, each connected with a Ugandan SIM card in the names of certain individuals. Several Airtel and MTN new lines are visible. So far, police investigations show that these are used for financial crime, especially on the WeChat social media.
We note that these phones were connected to an online platform called WeChat. This is basically a Chinese-owned platform, and it is used for messaging and financial transactions. Now, the preliminary investigations we've had indicated that there were so many financial transactions done on that WeChat. And basically the targets were Chinese. Whether there are some other transactions that have been done that compromise our financial institutions and even security generally. There's also something we have also noticed, that all these telephones which are up are bearing the Ugandan telephone lines of Airtel majorly, with over 1,895 SIM cards, and also MTN of around 223.
Well, this is one of the rooms that these Chinese have actually been sleeping in, as you can see, the bed sheets and the duvets. But again, according to police, they've picked interest in another potential crime, that is smuggling. Because in this room we have boxes and boxes of cigarettes, and if I can read here, it's set walls. And according to police, they're investigating how these boxes of cigarettes got into the country, and still they're yet to find out if it's actually one of the types that is allowed to enter the country. According to police, some of these suspects were also transacting business without work permits, as many entered the country.
These Chinese that had escaped from the quarantine are being taken to some apartment on Chambago Road, together with the house helps that have been taking care of them. The number has steadily increased now to over 50 people, and they're all boarding the bus, aided by the DVC police, that is Afande Kasijire, and a team of medics from the Ministry of Health. So those are the pictures that you see. But then I see it's not only Chinese that are here. We also have some people from Ethiopia. There are quite a big number of people. The lady who aided their escape from the quarantine center is also going along with them. And
Les Chinois prisonniers, on nous envoie pour venir s'occuper des Guinéens. Ça ne peut plus continuer. Ou ils respectent les lois du pays, ou ils foutent le camp. On n'a pas besoin d'une décision qui vient ici pour insulter les gens. Il y a le régime. Ils veulent montrer la force. Ils veulent montrer qu'ils sont forts. S'ils ne trouvent pas la solution, autorité Ramiro Ntagé pour 5 minutes. Voilà. On comprend qui est capable de faire. Nous allons aller les écouter. D'accord. Si l'autorité n'a pas de solution, nous ne laisserons pas cette occasion la passer. Nous nous prenons 10 de lui. Allez, voilà, si nous, le karaté, jusqu'au dernier, ils vont foutre nos camps d'ici. Mais on a dit, on respecte la loi. Nous allons aller écouter l'autorité. Si l'autorité n'a pas de solution, tous ceux-là que j'ai vus avec les boudins là, ne dormiront pas en Guinée. Nous arrêtons tout le travail à Boufa jusqu'à ce que tous ceux qui portent le gourdin là quittent ici. Nous respectons beaucoup l'autorité, mais on ne veut pas des gens qui viennent ici pour prendre le poids contre les Guinéens. Vraiment. Notre indépendance, on ne peut l'avoir que dans notre pays. Nous respectons beaucoup les étrangers. Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait pour comprendre les gourdins? Lui, c'est sa force là qui va vous arrêter? Non. C'est son bois là qui va vous arrêter? Non. Si on disait au travail, c'est aller chercher les bois. Allez chercher les bois et venez aussi avec les bois. Venez les attaquer avec les bois. Qu'est-ce qui allait se passer? C'est la mort. C'est la mort. C'est seulement en Guinée. C'est seulement en Guinée que ça peut se passer. Tous les travailleurs, pardon, laissez-nous faire notre travail. Allez là-bas. Merci. Merci. Merci.
Africa is a huge continent, could feed thousands more people, but the policies of the West, especially in Europe. For example, between 1990 and the year 2000, the United States, Canada, and Europe contributed about $6 billion in contraceptives, not to help the people, not to give clean water, clean food. That is
not to fight malaria, for example.
No, of course, perish the thought, never. Yeah. Let them die. That's the whole idea. So, in our work in HLI, we denounced this reality to make the Africans aware that they have to defend themselves against the influence of foreign powers.
Is it just the United States, or do you believe that China is also playing a role in jockeying for the resources of Africa?
China is playing a major role because China is buying property in Africa. For example, in Mozambique, which is a Portuguese-speaking language country, they, when Portugal was in charge of Mozambique, they used to export rice. Now they are importing rice from China because they cannot produce. The socialism has wrecked the production of rice. And the Chinese come and buy farms. So about almost a third of Mozambique belongs to China. So I was in other countries of Africa, the same reality. In South Africa, the Chinese are buying property, buying land in Africa. So, and they send their own workers, the Chinese workers. They don't employ people of the place. They send their own workers to populate and was involved with the government. And it explicitly states, which to this day, it remains the official policy of the American government. It has not changed. May not be implemented by Trump, but it remains the same. That the purpose of the foreign policy in Africa was to reduce the population. So to give aid to countries in Africa, not clean water and schooling and things like that, but contraception and abortion. In order to shrink the population of Africa, because they have great mineral resources there.
That sounds diabolical.
Yes.
That sounds like something conceived in the mind of Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, definitely. And so at the time, Kissinger and those involved with the Carter administration wanted to shrink the population, make sure that the Africans do not develop and do not use the resources for themselves, because we in the States, we need them. There is a concerted effort of foreign powers to control the population of Africa.
Woo. Now we've been knew this, my royal family, but the sad part, it has to come out of the enemy's mouth in order for it to be believed. And there are so many layers other than, now that Moab is over there doing what they are doing. And I think because of social media and we raising our voices and looking at our folks over there like, Akibalan is very rich in many minerals and you haven't utilized it. And you hear it clearly from the enemy's mouth, saying all these different administrations here in America and in all the other European countries, along with the Asian countries, their ultimate goal is to strip her of her wealth. So the question that I ask is, more folks in other regions of Africa, are they going to stand up and crack down and do what they have to do? Or are they going to continue to allow these folks to buy up their land and run a robe all over Akibalan? As we continue on, this may lap over a little bit, but I felt like it was necessary to show the royal family.
We're together. The test and the driving that you never did. Okay, that's fine.
What are you gonna do? Okay, wait. What are you gonna do now?
Ma'am, we need to take this vehicle in and we need to check all these people's documentation if they're legal in South Africa.
Yeah. So, and we are civil guests.
Huh? Do you still have his license?
No.
Yeah. Okay, what's going to happen now, ma'am? You say the car's on your name. Okay, we need to verify your documentation if you're all legal in South Africa. So we're going to take you to SAPS here at Lam Laughter, where we're going to verify everything. Okay, you need to phone people to bring your documentation to show to us and prove to us that you're legally in South Africa. Which one was it? How did you come to South Africa? These people. Has he got a passport?
Passport.
Where did he get the ID from?
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah. But he's got a South African ID.
It's getting worse, guys.
Where did you get the ID? I don't understand one thing. These people can't speak English And they can't speak any. Whoa. They can't speak English. They can't speak any of our other languages. But they're in possession of a driver's license of our country. They're in possession of documents. How did they apply for these things? The Chinese made it. Huh? Where did they make it? You have a friend that. When did this gentleman came to South Africa? Ask him.
What I can tell you is that today at around 8 police officers from Kilimani, Kota Tipo, that of information about Camp Toby, this particular building. They are still going on with the investigation, searching the place to establish what is in place. But so far we have 4 suspects, which we are here to interrogate. Once we have interrogated and established what is inside, we shall be able to take the appropriate action and not to prepare charges, which we are going to prefer against the suspects. But otherwise, that is all that I have now. I don't want to disclose each and every detail of the investigation, but that is what is there. We are carrying out the investigation.
You can see they have these big arrests where they go and capture a bunch of sort of illegal Chinese gold miners. So they go there, illegally mine the gold, but in the process they divert river systems, they use a lot of chemicals, of course, for the whole mining process, which is very bad to the local environment.
I'm in the Zambezi region. Now, when people are talking of timber harvesting, This is what I mean. Look, these are our Tiba going to China. I'm at the site now. These are Tibas going to China. Do we really need to blame the Chinese on this? They got these permits from our Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, to cut these things. Our traditional authorities involved. It's our government, nobody else. Chinese were given these things, and they are taking advantage of our forest. Do we need to blame the government? I mean, the Chinese? No. Our country is going to the dogs. Look at this tree. Diameter of more than 1 meter. Diameter of more than 1 meter. Our country is going to the gold. This is mostly what is called Zambezi Dikokiata. Okay? It's gone to the dogs. You can circulate the video. These trees take years to replace, and they were cut. Now they have been trimmed to be packed into containers, and it goes to Valdez and then China.
The pictures that you see, these Chinese that had escaped from the quarantine are being taken to some apartment on Chambago Road, together with the house helps that have been taking care of them. The number has steadily increased now to over 50 people, and they're all boarding the bus, aided by the DVC police, that is Afande Kasijere, and a team of medics from the Ministry of Health. So those are the pictures that you see. But then I see it's not only Chinese that are here. We also have some people from Ethiopia. There are quite a big number of people. The lady who aided their escape from the quarantine center is also going along with them, and the husband.
This is the home of the 37 Chinese nationals who were on Friday charged with possession of suspected stolen items at Buganda Road Court. This follows an ongoing police probe that unveiled the racket after concerns by some neighbors. The raid showed motherboards of used phones and laptops reportedly stolen in Uganda, then repackaged and exported to China.
And these motherboards for the phones we suspect were snatched from Ugandans.
There were also wildlife exhibits like tortoises, pangolin scales and fish maw also recovered from this house. This is not a phone processing plant, but a makeshift control room with over 2,000 phones, each connected with a Ugandan SIM card in the names of certain individuals. Several Airtel and MTN new lines are visible. So far, police investigations show that these are used for financial crime, especially on the WeChat social media.
We note that these phones were connected to an online platform called WeChat. This is basically a Chinese-owned platform, and it is used for messaging and financial transactions. Now, the preliminary investigations we've had indicated that there were so many financial transactions done on that WeChat. And basically the targets were Chinese. Whether there are some other transactions that have been done that compromise our financial institutions and even the security generally. There is also something we have also noticed, that all these telephones which are up are bearing the Ugandan telephone lines of Airtel majorly, with over 1,895 SIM cards, and also MTN of around 223.
Well, this is one of the rooms that these Chinese have actually been sleeping in, as you can see, the bed sheets and the duvets. But again, according to police, they've picked interest in another potential crime, that is smuggling. Because in this room we have boxes and boxes of cigarettes, and if I can read here, it's set walls. And according to police, they're investigating how these boxes of cigarettes got into the country, and still they're yet to find out if it's actually one of the types that is allowed to enter the country. According to police, some of these suspects were also transacting business without work permits, as many entered the country using visitors' visa.
Africa is a huge continent, could feed thousands more people, but the policies of the West, especially in Europe. For example, between 1990 and the year 2000, the United States, Canada, and Europe contributed about $6 billion in contraceptives, not to help the people, not to give clean water, clean food. That is
not to fight malaria, for example.
No, of course, perish the thought, never.
Yeah.
Let them die. That's the whole idea. So, in our work in HLI, we denounced this reality to make the Africans aware that they have to defend themselves against the influence of foreign powers.
Is it just the United States, or do you believe that China is also playing a role in jockeying for the resources of Africa?
China is playing a major role because China is buying property in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in Mozambique, which is a Portuguese-speaking language country, they when Portugal was in charge of Mozambique, they used to export rice. Now they are importing rice from China because they cannot produce. The socialism has wrecked the production of rice. And the Chinese come and buy farms. So about almost a third of Mozambique belongs to China. So I was in other countries of Africa, the same reality. In South Africa, the Chinese are buying property, buying land in Africa. So, and they send their own workers, the Chinese workers. They don't
all right, my royal family.
They send their own workers to populate.
Let me shut that down. I know some of that overlap, but it was necessary. It was necessary. Y'all know how I get down over here sometimes. Some of these videos that I show to the royal family have a tendency to overlap in order for us to get the bigger picture. But again, the question that I ask wholeheartedly, will throughout the continent of Akibalan, will our folks over there handle their business and deal with Moab? Now, according to the scriptures, Moab is not allowed in the kingdom, and they will be completely wiped out. So we know something is going to happen. Will that be fully by the hands of man or fully by the divine hand? Well, that's a no-brainer. We know that the divine hand will do the last of the cleanup. And what we are seeing here, because of coronavirus have exposed many things globally. And people are going to have to start making executive decisions. This is not a good look in that region when you allow these people to come to your country and run a road. And then we have to look at the government. Is the government, allowing these people to, put on a dog and pony show and, we'll do a couple of little arrests, like we see here. We're going to do a couple of little arrests. We're going to, we looking all good and all of that. And then you're going to allow these people to pull this shit off. Running mining camps back as business as usual. This shit is atrocious, my royal family, that them folks over there, they already know what time it is, how mentally rich they are, that you would allow these folks to make a mockery of you, send them savages over there to do what they do. You see how they live. They getting down nasty. They even got wet marks over there. You seen all that nasty shit over there and stuff. So are you going to really crack down? Because in the other part of it, you see that there were other folks that is the face of the country that was arrested, so they can get past things, My aunt is married to a man from Nigeria. They've been married for eons. And one thing that he told my father when my father went to Africa, he said, my father went to synagogue. When you go to each township, you have to, cross each township, you have to encounter the police. You got to give them something. Throughout Akibalan it's fully corrupted, and it's sad. And it got that way once they start allowing the Europeans to come in and dominate. So I want to see, are they going to make a concerted effort? Because they got to go all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, all up in the middle, because that would require also the government to do their part. So I'm not going to get overzealous when I see our father Spittle get arrested. Is this, what is this? What really is this? Is this for real? Or is this a dog and pony show to make people think, oh, we doing something? That ain't the first time I seen folks, them folks over there where they have minds that are closed, and they run a robe and do what they want to do. That ain't the first time I've seen this. This is not new to me, and I know it ain't new to some of y'all. But that's our home there. That is the base of the world there. Even though we are indigenous to the whole damn globe, life started there. And naturally, where everything started, yes, it would be mineral rich. And, these folks is buying up land and they have no intent of selling. Then they send their own over there to do the work. And so that speaks volumes, and they allowing it. Even like in South Africa, I was very pissed with Ramaphosa when he allowed that Moab would have their own police force. I'm like, damn. You see what money and greed will do to you? You will lose sight of the well-being of your people. When you are leading, you have to always keep the people first, because when some shit jump off, you gonna want them to back you up, but you think that money gonna back you up. No. And one more thing as I close out. Also, they marrying black women, and they gonna play their game. And yes, there is a shortage over in their country, but I seen that Ethiopian chick. She was a part of the nefarious things that they was doing over there. They will use whatever they have to use, and, cause somebody, you having sex with somebody, you thinking, oh, that, since we having these intimate encounters that, they would never, harm me or my people. They don't give a damn. But on the flip side, and this is what I was taught by my dear father, anytime, I don't care if it's a black woman or a black man, when they decide they want to swirl, and it don't have to just necessarily be with Esau, you can't trust them. They have been compromised. So what's really going on over in Akibalan, let alone Nigeria? It's a very big continent over there, my royal family. What's really going on? Like I said again, is this a dog and pony show? What's really going on? Like this situation here. These people allow themselves to be locked into a factory for 14 days, fed little or no food. Then once they get everything done, then them folks say, get out. They done got free labor. So that's the question that I'm asking. So it truly, whoever showed that footage of all that beautiful lumber there cut down way too much, it starts at the top. So we shall see. This is something else that I and others, because I need the royal family's help to keep me abreast on, the daily affairs throughout Akibalan. Let's see if this is all real. So my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.